Welcome to episode 3 of the TKIGS show, and we are talking about money, money, money.
Came from the bottom, now it's time to blow up. Yeah, it's time to turn up. Yeah, we about to blow up. We keep it G, we keep it fly.
Of course, you see I have on the money green today, so this is the topic. We will discuss money. And no, I'm not an expert in money. I'm not a financial expert. I'm not a financial advisor, disclaimer. But this episode, I really was sitting here thinking like, I'm such an educator and a teacher, and I read so much that I felt like I just want to share nuggets with people. I'm learning, so why not you guys learn with me? I feel like, it's important for us as adults, parents, or young adults to learn and educate ourselves, because what we don't know, we cannot teach our children. So even if you don't have children, one day you may have children. So it's important to learn and get knowledge and apply it as wisdom so you can teach your children, because what you don't know, you cannot teach them. So once I became a parent, I always like to read and learn anyway. So, but regardless of the fact, there was a lot of things that I just didn't. I wanted my children to learn and know, and to be able to not make the choice and decisions that I made. Hence, my daughter, full scholarship to NYU. She's not taking out any student loans, and NYU costs around $78,080 a year, and it's taken care of. So she won't have to take out any student loans. Thank God for that. Me, on the other hand, that's a whole nother topic. But we're not going to get into that today with student loans. But I have my master's degree. I have a bachelor's degree. And, student loans. But anyway, long story short, I felt like this episode, I needed to talk to everyone about it. Those who are watching, tuning in. I think everybody could, apply this knowledge or wisdom, or share it with someone if you have a niece or nephew, or just anybody who may be interested in learning more. And it's just a nugget. I want you to take this episode and then go contact a financial advisor. Go sign up for a boot camp for stock investments. I want y'all to this is just going to be a segue into you, reading up on it and studying and learning more for yourself. So that's what we were discussing today on the TKIGS show. So get ready to take notes. I'm going to go ahead and just share some things that I've learned along the way. So first thing I want to say is, when I decided to do this topic, it was on my heart because a lot of the unrest is going on with the racial injustice, social injustice, the Breonna Taylor decision. Everything has just been kind of like very, very, the African-American community is kind of like just disheartened right now. And I was thinking, like, we do the marches, we're telling everybody to go vote, which I'm voting. Don't get me wrong, I'm going to vote. I'm even going to volunteer to be a poll official, because I think Georgia is in need of 30,000 poll workers in order for the election on election day on November 5th for it to run smoothly and not people being in lines for hours and hours and hours, because a lot of the older people who retired were poll workers, and most of them have opted out of volunteering and working on election day because of the virus. And I totally understand, because they're high risk. So right now they need about 30,000 people to volunteer in Georgia. So I would definitely be volunteering and signing up to work on election day in the polls. So I'm going to do my part, and I'm going to vote. And my daughter, she's going to vote. So anyway, I'm doing my part in voting. I'm not here to not be an advocate against voting. I know how important that is, and I'm encouraging everyone to do that. But I also said, what else can I do? How can I also give back to the community or help during this time where African Americans seem to be, pretty much pissed off, just tired. Not tired of being black, because we that's just something we wake up to every day, but just tired. So I was just like, I'm not going to complain. I'm not going to post and do all this social media posting, and we're going to go do a march, and I'm going to go wear a t-shirt, Black Lives Matter. Now, I felt like my show, I would just touch on a topic that I think could help all African Americans. And the reason why I say that is because if we take the time to educate and empower ourselves in areas that help us to empower ourselves as far as our family and our individual selves in the Black African American community, then overall we can help just to become more empowered overall, not looking towards the government, not looking towards reparations, just what we can do that's in our control. And that starts with money, financial literacy. And so the topic today that's what it's going to touch on. So I want to start with, I don't want to preach. I'm not going to preach. Not going to be Pastor Melvin today or But I do want to share some scriptures. So, Hosea 4:6. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. That's just the first. I just wanted to throw that out there because lack of knowledge, we will be destroyed. And I don't know if you guys are familiar with the income stats. You can go look up the U.S. Census Bureau. You can Google. You can see the disparities in the racial inequality and the racial gap between the African Americans and the white people, Caucasians, the Asians. You can see the wealth gap. Even at my job, we actually just had to run a report. I had to run a report to show the disparities in as far as the equality, as far as the money and how each demographic, how much everybody makes. And of course, African Americans were the lowest paid. So anyway, long story short, the racial gap is a huge problem within the African American community. And we can't keep waiting on reparations. We just can't. Stimulus checks, unemployment, even going back to school, getting student loans. It's just a lot. It's a lot. There's so many, and don't get me wrong, there's so many reasons why the racial gap is the way it is. Let's just be honest. Let's just be real about it. We all know why we're behind the ball. But we can't keep complaining about that. What we can do is take matters in our hands. And that's what this topic in this episode is about, financial literacy. And I've been studying, trying to figure out, okay, how can I, be better and more knowledgeable? So I picked up this book called Quit Like a Millionaire. And I don't know if it's one of the top sellers, New York Times bestsellers. It's from a young couple, a Canadian young lady and her boyfriend. She's actually Asian, but she moved to Canada. Her parents relocated to Canada. And she and her boyfriend at the time were in college, and she learned how to start becoming financial literate. And she just taught herself, her and her boyfriend. They retired as millionaires at 31 or 32 years old. And they wrote a book. She wrote a book at 33 on how, and it's called The FIRE Principle is what she basically wrote it off of. And I don't know if you guys are familiar with FIRE, but there's a FIRE movement going on. It's called a FIRE Principle. You need to look into it and Google it. It is called Financial Independence, Retire Early. That's the acronym. So FIRE stands for Financial Independence, Retire Early. And I want everyone to pick up this book and read it. Like I said, our people perish for the lack of knowledge. I read it probably in I'm reading it again because it's a lot of information, but it's not a hard read. So I need you guys to, if you don't like to read, I know there's a lot, I have a lot of guy friends and they look at me like, gee, one told me he get dizzy when he reads. So look, let me tell you, if you don't like to read, you can get the audio and listen to it. Listen to it in the car when you're driving, before you fall asleep. There's no excuse because now we have audio, so we can listen. Same way you listen to Future, you listen to Cardi B, you can go on and put the audio on and educate and fill your mind with something positive that's not talking about turning up, popping bottles, I'm not gonna go there. But anyway, just there's no excuse if you don't like to read because it's on audio. So anyway, I just wanted to share what I learned from this book. Of course, Rich Dad Poor Dad, I also have that. This is a classic. Every father, mother, child, parent, young should read this. And this is the updated version. He has updated for the new century because this book, I think it was written back in the 90s or 80s, but he's updated it. So, but this right here, the FIRE principle, the FIRE movement intrigued me because the millennials have figured out a way to retire early in their 30s, debt free. So with that being said, I was like, well, hold up, wait. She retired at 31, her and her boyfriend. So this book, I just want everybody to pick it up and learn it. She basically, talks about, she puts even her budget, her monthly budget that they lived off of is included in this book. She puts her spreadsheets in here. She gives you the formula of how much you need to put away out of your paycheck in order to retire as a millionaire. She gives you the formula. She gives you the stocks and stuff that she invested in, how much they put away. Now, she does have a strategy as far as living off half your income. So it doesn't matter how much you make. I know some of y'all looking like, really? A millionaire in 30s? But I know I have a lot of students that I used to teach who follow me on social media. If you're watching this and you're in your 20s, your early 20s, like 23, 24, if you start the FIRE principle, I don't care how much you make. I don't care if you make $25,000 a year, $30,000 a year. You can retire as a millionaire within the 15, 20 years if you follow these principles. Now, don't get me wrong. You will not be balling and driving a Mercedes, living in a nice condo. You will not be buying Louis Vuitton and Gucci off of her principles. That is not the way you're going to become a millionaire. You will be living off the bare minimum and saving the rest of your money. But anyway, that's the principles that this book is about. And I think it's important for us to study and learn that because we are consumers naturally. African Americans, we like nice things, but the wealth gap and the racial inequality gap of wealth is just not going to close if we keep wanting to look good instead of saving and investing. So what I was saying is this book pretty much lays out a plan, a financial plan for you guys and for all of us to pretty much mimic.
Yeah. It's the keep it G show.
She gives it step by step. And I know some of you probably like, is it realistic? She does give some resources in the back for those who have children or taking care of their elderly parents, things of that nature. Everybody has a different financial situation. But for young people, you definitely can follow this step by step. So I just wanted to just share that. This is a book. I wanted to just let you guys know how much I learned from it and how I think everybody could benefit from reading it. And how it could just help us become better savers and investors where we all pretty much could become a millionaire one day. It just depends on how much we save and how much we put away. But the compound interest and investing and actually just living off half your income and just putting away half of it and not spending it over time, we're all guaranteed no matter how much we make a year, we can be successful and we can bridge that wealth income gap that we see in the African American community. So do some research. Please pick up a book. Take a bootcamp class. There's a lot of stock classes investing. Dave Ramsey. It's just so many things out there. Seminars, courses, books you can read, audios to really learn about how to invest and how to become a high investor and put away wealth. Like it's just very important. And I wanted to share that for this episode. I'm not going to go into so much detail because like I said, I'm not a financial expert. But there are so many that are within arm's length. You may know someone. You can pick up a book. You can read. Even in this book, she's learned herself. Her and her boyfriend just started learning the stock market, how to invest, and how to live off half their income, each of them, before they even got married, while they were in college, when they graduated college. So it's doable. Everybody can do it. Like I said, of course, you probably will miss out on expensive things. One thing she did include in her budget was a vacation. She did include a vacation because, of course, just to kind of relieve yourself and not have so much stress. So you still can kind of enjoy your life. You can still enjoy life, just be the simple things. But anyway, I just want to share that. I know we're all kind of disheartened at this moment, but it's good at this time to just pretty much pick up some knowledge and wisdom because we can't depend on the government. We can't, you guys. So it's just time for us to start saving and not consuming so much. And I just want to leave you with one scripture. Proverbs 22:7 says, "The rich rules over the poor, and the borrower is a slave of the lender." So, please remember that whenever you think about not saving. Change your mindset and educate yourself. I love you guys, and I hope you learned something, and I hope you share this video and tell someone to pick up this book and read it. And no, they did not pay me to do this. I just wanted to share what I read because I read all the time, and I just wanted to give back to you guys. I just want you guys to know that we all can do better, period, and just teach others. Bye.
It's a keep it G show. Yeah. It's a keep it G show. Yeah. It's a keep it G. Keep it G. Yeah. Oh yeah. It's a keep it G show. Yeah. It's a keep it G show.